I'm Jacey. I'm a showrunner's assistant on a show called Westworld. I'd been on the Writer's Assistant Network mailing list since the first mixer, and I had a great time at the mixers. Loved meeting other assistants, and I got the first email about the fellowship, and it sounded great. I was actively going to start looking for reps, and this seemed like the perfect way to kind of make that little bit of a step from assistant to writer in your own right, and seemed like a really good way to do it. And I was excited about the idea of getting to workshop a script with a group of other assistants, and I applied and was really surprised when I got in, and was really thrilled about it. And you know, from that very first meeting on, it was just such a great group of people. They were so smart, had such great ideas, were such talented writers, and we were like all in the same boat. So it was this amazing kind of support network of young, talented writers, like trying to make our way kind of outside of the support staff room, and it was awesome. It was really a great experience. But I got to say that the biggest moment for me was when we had the upper level writers reading our material, and I got paired with these really cool, my piece was a horror piece, so I got paired with these really cool horror writers, and just to hear, they really took to my script, and just to hear kind of completely objective third parties who had never read it before, who didn't know me, who didn't know what show I was on or who I worked for, or any of these things, just respond to my material for what it was really one of the most encouraging moments I've had as a writer. So I was super lucky and I got an agent during the process because we had sent out scripts to people we'd met at our welcome mixer, and I got an agent interested in me at that point. And then after that, we started working together, and it's been good. I've been going on general meetings, and I've gotten some development assignments, and that's been really great. And then after working with them for a few months, I decided with the development stuff and with going into staffing that I wanted to bring on a manager, which is a little bit backwards. You're supposed to kind of do the manager first and then the agent. And so my agent wanted to set me up with managers that they like and they knew, but there was also still managers from the workshop, and I actually ended up going with one of the managers who found me in the workshop. So Gotham Group was interested, they got my script through the workshop and through Joey, and so I met with them at the same time I was meeting with these managers my agents were setting me up with, and then I ended up going with one that found me in the workshop instead of my agents. Look, I mean, here's the thing: is like being an assistant is a great stepping stone to getting a TV writing job, but it's not a guarantee at all. It's a great place to learn. It's a great place to being an assistant. I mean, it's a great place to learn. It's a great place to start to get a sense of like what you need to be doing as a writer, but you have to be writing. Like it's like being an assistant is not going to get you anywhere by virtue of being an assistant. You've got to have the material to back it up. You've got to have representation. You've got to have a support network, and this gives you all of that. And it pushes you to write your own material that's separate from your show. It gets you in front of agents and managers that aren't necessarily that don't necessarily know about your show. And most importantly, is it keeps pushing you towards being a writer, and it's because it's easy to get complacent as an assistant, and it's not a sure thing. So I think that this is the right way of learning really what you need to do to make that leap from assistant to staff writer. This one is great because every assistant in that room knows what TV writing is. You know, they know what it's like to get network notes, they know what showrunners are looking for, they know what it's like to work with the staff, they know what staff writers do, and it gets a completely different perspective on what makes a strong piece of material, because they know what the machine looks like. They know what it's like to go through all the rounds of notes, they know what it's like to write for a showrunner's voice, they know how to, they know what a pilot looks like, and so it's because TV writing is very much it's talent, yes, but it's also very much a skill, and you're working with people who understand that skill in a really solid way. Because I'd been an assistant for a couple years at that point, this was the first time in a long time where I felt like a writer in my own right, and not somebody who was attached to a show or a showrunner, and it was really it was really important for me at that moment to have people looking at me as a voice and a writer in my own right, as opposed to an extension of the projects I was working on. So that was really huge for me. When you're working on a show, you have access. You potentially have access to the writers that you're working with, their reps, and it's that awkward place of like, oh, can you send my script to your manager? And then they're sending your script to their reps as like, oh, this is an assistant on my show, and you're automatically kind of lumped in with this like, oh, okay, well, maybe if they get staffed on the show, I'll look at them, or you know, one of those kinds of things. And this was just like, no, here are some really great undiscovered writers, and and they put us in front of these really great reps, and I ended up with a rep that was no one in my world on my show had mentioned, that I really, really loved. And I ended up with managers at a really great, big, wonderful management company that I didn't have to ask a favor for. You know, I didn't have to ask somebody to please send my script if you maybe think it's good enough. Will you send it? I didn't have to do that. I just got to be presented as a writer, and it was great. And I think it really also set me off on the right foot with my current team.